Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're tuning in from. We are back, the Vibe Online, real raw truth about what it takes to work online. Myself, Karen, and Megan are back this evening, and we are going to talk tonight about overthinking, a huge subject that lots of people talk about, lots of people feel in just everyday life, really. So. We get hit with questions all the time about this. And how do you go from, well, how do you stop overthinking? Like,
Mm.
how do you, when you start, for example, when we first came into the business and we started running the business, we overthought everything, like literally everything. And so many people can relate to that, and we can relate to where you are right now in your business journey, if that's where you are. But also we can relate to that on other aspects of life, like overthinking going to the gym or overthinking washing your hair. Like I overthink and procrastinate washing my hair all the time. Like these kind of things are so totally normal. So yeah, we just thought that this would be a really cool topic to kind of chat about and just feel out for you guys as to how to help you stop overthinking, which leads to procrastination, which leads to getting zero done all day, just about. So yeah, Meg, overthinking.
Yeah, well, it's such a major one, honestly, that everyone experiences. Like, we are only human, and it's normal that we overthink. There's so many reasons why we would do that. It could be out of fear, it could be out of perfectionism. Like, especially when you're working online, you start to have a lot of comparison to other people, and again, a very, very normal feeling. You tend to overthink everything, because you kind of feel a bit like in the public eye a little bit, because you're not now tucked away in your house, just going to your job and doing what everybody else is doing. You're stepping out there, you're stepping out of your comfort zone. So those fears kind of really start to tap in, and you do start to overthink. And like we've already said, we've all experienced it. But it's about, how do you manage the overthinking so that you can push past that, get the job done, take the action that you need to take, stop procrastinating, move forward. So what and I still do it now. Like, honestly, I do. I catch myself overthinking. I'm like, bloody hell, Meg, like, you know better than this. Whatever it is that you're thinking or you're feeling, it's not true, first and foremost. Like, whatever it is that you're thinking about, it's really not that bad. The world isn't going to end. It's your natural,
Yeah.
like, body's reaction to overthink, feel a fear, like, feel, procrastination, not want to do something. So I think it really starts with highlighting why you are overthinking. What are you overthinking about? And something that I love to do is just do like a brain dump. And for anyone that doesn't know what a brain dump is, literally get a pen and a paper and sit there and write out everything that is on your mind.
Brain
Because what you
dumps
can then,
are so good.
yeah, honestly,
So
they really
good.
are. I use them all the time, especially when I'm working and I'm like, I've got so many ideas running through my head. I'm like, right, pen, paper, I just need to write it all down. So it's out of my head into paper, and I can stay focused on something. But yeah, that's where overthinking massively comes in, because you've got all of these things running around in your mind. You can't really pinpoint what it is, but you can't move forward without releasing that, right? So mind dumps are like a huge step forward, because once you've got it out on paper, you can look at it and then start to work through whatever you've written down and actually rationalize, is that important? Should I be worried about that? Or can I just cross it off and say, Meg, don't be ridiculous. That's just your
Yeah.
mind playing tricks on you. Don't worry about it. Cross it off the list. If there's something that's important, or it's something that you need to do later on, oh my God, you've got to go grocery shopping, or you've got to pick the kids up from school, or whatever it is, how am I going to get this done before that? Put it aside. Okay, that's important, but that's not until later. So, right now, what are you dealing with? So, yeah, mind dumping, figuring out what it is, and also what's the feeling. What are you overthinking? What's the feeling? Is it a fear? Is it apprehension? Are you, I don't know, apprehensive to go and do something? Maybe you've got an event or a wedding to go to, and you're like, feeling a little bit nervous, and you're overthinking it all. Like, think about it. And I think this comes to some of the solutions that we'll give later on in the episode as well, on how to. Obviously, we're talking about how to help right now, but working through these things as well is highlighting what it is. What's the feeling behind it? Why is it happening? Is it even a rational thought to be having? be serious with yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because our mind can really play tricks on us. So yeah, I'd say that's a great place to start with overthinking. That's how I like to do it anyway.
Yeah, massively. I think for me, for overthinking, and I overthink a lot about a lot of things, and especially in the beginning of the business, it was overthinking doing the training, overthinking putting an ad out, overthinking creating an ad. But
Yeah. Well, am I doing this right? That was a
yeah,
huge one for me. Am I doing this right?
yeah. And then ultimately it's like ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
Like, if it doesn't go to plan, then it doesn't go to plan. Like as everybody says, everybody that has created an incredible life that has got very successful businesses online, uh, imperfect action is better than no action at all.
Mm,
So I like to take a step back and kind of break that cycle of my brain just being like blah, 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 all over the place, crazy overthinking, can't control yourself, and go and just do a bit of meditation. I'll put
mm,
an app on my phone, I listen to some meditation, and it just resets your brain back to where you should be in a nice kind of like, okay, I'm all good now. I've put the BS in the bin and I'm good to get back on track now and not overthink anymore. It doesn't always work for everybody. Find something that does work for you, but brain dumping is probably the best and my first go-to as well as
mm.
like what you
Yeah.
said, Meg, as well. It's like it's so powerful to just like take a breath and take a step back. And then when you're ready to go for it and do whatever that action is that you've been overthinking, once you've actually done it, again, brain dump. How did you feel? How did you get through it? What happened when you got to the other end and you actually did whatever that may be, whether it's been putting an ad out or putting out a piece of content on social media? It's like what is stopping you from doing it? But then how did it feel when you got there? And
Mm,
that's a huge piece because then every time that you get to that, it's like training a muscle. You're going to train that muscle to stop overthinking each time you do that one subject or that one action.
mhm,
And then you know how to react in that situation when it comes up again, or you're putting out a new piece of content, or you're creating a new ad, or you do the same if you're taking another action, like procrastinating going to the gym, overthinking going to the gym because you may not be as fit or as strong or as um knowledgeable as other people that you think are in the gym. But actually, how do you even know that they are those people? Because you
yeah.
have no idea. Everybody goes to the gym. And I tell you what, as much as I'm a big gym goer and a gym lover, and I can walk in any gym now and I don't care about what people think. But let me tell you, when I first started going to a new gym, probably now like almost about 14 years ago within the military, and it was a very male dominant environment. I overthought every single step that I took up that hill to step foot in the door of the gym. And it's a horrible place to be. It's not nice to be in that position of overthinking.
Mm.
And then your anxiety comes up and everything like that. So just breathe. Just breathe, take a step, and just go for it. It's the biggest pieces of advice that we can give you. What's
Yeah,
been
no.
your biggest moment, Meg, in business? Let's start with business. What's been your biggest moment in business that you have overthought, which now looking back on is probably something really small, but at the time, what was your biggest sort of overthinking hurdle that you had to get through?
Oh gosh, great question. My overthinking hurdle. I don't know if there's actually particularly one that I can pinpoint, but I know that I've had multiple times where I've overthought showing up on social media and, posting content or talking on stories. And it's always been the overthinking of, is this good enough? Am I doing it the right way? Is it going to connect with people? Are they going to understand like my vibe? Am I going to connect in the way that I want to? And it is like your mind playing tricks on you because it's something brand new. You haven't built a habit of yet. So that's something to highlight massively. When you're doing something brand new, it's so like you are going to overthink it. You really are, because it's just a natural instinct, a natural reaction to overthink anything that you've never done before because you're already trying to figure it out and have the answer and do it perfectly. And that's like showing up on social media, you feel you start perfecting everything or trying to, but you honestly, you cannot. You are perfect just as the way you are, just with the voice that you have. Any way that you show up on social media is the perfect way that you get to show up. And the people that you're connecting with will know that. They will feel it from you. And it's all about the vibe and the honesty and the authenticity that you give off. So I think it took me a long period of time to kind of recognize that, and I still have the odd post that I put out and I'm like, oh, that feels risky. Should I have posted that, so there's still a bit of it, like even where we are right now in business, and no doubt where we get to down the line as well, years and years and years on, we're still going to have moments of overthinking because we're just human, and it's just such a normal thing to feel, but I think taking on some of these kind of practices that you can do to, when you are overthinking, to recognize it and just be really like self-aware of how you're feeling, what you're thinking, dump it all out, figure out what it is, what's the feeling, and then break the pattern. And I think it's a pattern interrupt that you must do, because
Yeah.
if you're sitting there and you're whirling around in your mind, and I've done it plenty of times as well, I've tucked myself away to get like loads of business done, and I've got really excited about it, and then within an hour I'm like overthinking everything because there's so much that I'm like trying to dip into, and I'm one of these people that I'm very all or nothing, so I'm like, my to-do list is like the length of my arm, and I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna get all of this stuff done today, and super optimistic, and it gets like halfway through the day, I'm like, crap, I'm not done. Like, I've done some of these bits but not everything that I wanted to, so I have to like scale it back, and then when the overthinking happens, I need to pause, do the pattern interrupt, get out of this office,
Yeah.
outdoors, go for a walk, get into the gym. Like, going to the gym is such an incredible pattern interrupt. It really, really is.
Yeah. We
Like
were
you
just
know
talking
more
about
than
this
it.
before the podcast, weren't we, actually? Talking about getting to the gym and breaking that cycle and monotony of the same
Totally.
thing every
And
single day.
how great do you feel when like you're running on a running machine or you're pumping some weights? You're not thinking about all the crap that you were thinking about half an hour ago.
Yeah, I
If
know.
anything, your mind's clearer than anything, and you can then go back, revisit it. And I've done this before. I've revisited it. I'm like, what were you even worried about? Why were you
Yeah,
overthinking? You spent so much time
I know.
wasting time to overthink.
I
So you could have
know.
just done the thing. But you do come back to it with a different mind. But how about yourself, Karen? What would you say is something on your business journey, or a particular time or event that happened that you like really overthought, and how did you get through it?
So probably for me, it was like putting content out in social media. So as a lot of people do that come into the online space, you use Facebook, Instagram, whatever platform to, well, I certainly did, like, to just kind of keep up with friends and family that you no longer live beside, and they can see what you're doing with your life and how things are going and what you're up to and that kind of thing. And then it was like, okay, so now I'm running a business and I need to use my social media for that.
Mm.
And then I was overthinking every single piece of content I put out in the beginning. I was overthinking to a point where I was procrastinating and getting nothing out. And I was like so run away in my own head. And I think it was like the fear of the judgment of others and what they would think was what made me think, what's that person going to say? What's that person going to say? What effects it going to have? Like, how are going to people going to perceive me? How is this going to affect my life? How is this going to affect my business? Is it going to be right? Is it going to be good enough? Is it, all the very natural thoughts that everybody has. And the biggest piece of advice I could give to anybody that has similar thoughts about posting on social media, starting a business, and stepping into the unknown and the sort of scary zone of going into the online world is to just do it, because practice makes perfect. And eventually you will never resonate with everybody. And I think that was a massive overthinker as well of mine, was like, I want to speak to everybody. I want to help everybody.
You want
Obviously,
to please everyone, and it's just not possible.
and it's natural, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be that person at the beginning, and when you have such passion to be able to help people, you want to be helping everybody else, but it's like all these overthought, you just get flooded with overwhelm, and I massively, like, as I said, I had to break that pattern interrupt and just go and just meditate like 10 minutes of a podcast or something that would like just ground me again, zone me back in, and I'd get back to it. And I'd be like, okay, right, I'm good. I'm good. I've got this. So it's amazing what that can do. Um, so yeah, content was probably my biggest point. And I actually remember writing content about procrastination and overthinking like way back when I first started, because obviously that's what I was thinking, that's what I was feeling. And do you know what? It's the biggest stealer of your time.
Yeah.
Like procrastination and overthinking will, I mean, I've sat in front of this laptop for hours some days. And like you, my to-do list is still as long as my arm because I've overthought everything, and then I don't know where to start, and I get myself all in this scuttle and I'm like, holy shit, what am I doing? So
Yeah.
yeah, but um between that and probably running ads is as we know, those that do know me and Meg's business journey, um ads has been fun and challenging for us along our journey, and I have overthought a lot about ads. And again, it's like the comparison is a thief of joy. So don't compare yourself to anybody else. Like
Mm.
switch off, cut them out, just do with what feels right for you and use your own energy, um because those energy vibes are going to be what passes on to your other people that you actually want to help, that are within your sort of zone, within your sort of circle of passions and what you enjoy doing, and they're the people that you want to be connecting with. But yeah, I mean, talking about the pattern interrupt, it's like when I worked in my job, I could not wait to get to the gym at lunchtime. That was my massive pattern interrupt, was to go to the gym every lunchtime and just reset. And I've always said to people as well, it's like the gym for me is a huge mindset tool. It just resets you. You go to the gym and you can literally forget about anything, everything, the whole world. Nothing matters apart from, to me, as to how much I'm going to shift on the next barbell.
Mm.
That's kind of it. So if you can find something that will distract you from all the crazy overwhelm and overthinking and procrastination and anxiety or whatever else that comes with that, find something that works for you that will break that pattern.
Yeah,
Because
something that grounds you. Yeah,
definitely,
for me, I would say that's getting in the kitchen and cooking.
yeah,
Like
that's a massive part of
100%
me.
for me,
Yeah,
it's cooking, or it's getting out in nature. Like I don't know anyone that doesn't lift their mood and clear their mind when they are surrounded by trees and flowers and rivers and birds
yeah,
and beautiful things, fresh
yeah.
air, sunshine on your skin, that kind of stuff. What, like 100%, 100%.
Yeah, it's I think it's a really, obviously we've done this podcast, but it's because we do feel passionate about this and helping you guys kind of come through it, but also realizing that it's completely normal for
Yeah.
everybody to overthink things in life, and it's just learning how to manage that overthinking. And the more you learn to manage it, the more your overthinking will reduce and die down, and
Yeah.
it will become less and less.
Yeah, it will do. And I think like we've given you some tips within this podcast already, brain jumping, breaking up that pattern interrupt, exercising, meditation, tapping into some gratitude as well, because it can be easy when you're in that mind frame of overthinking to feel really kind of a bit low vibration and not really recognizing in what an incredible position that you actually are in. Um, Other ones are like recognizing, like not looking for outside validation. And I think that was a huge one as well with the content stuff. I was overthinking it and asking
Definitely.
Mike, like, what do you think of this content? But I don't need like and people do with me as well. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? And I'm like, post it. Just post it and we'll talk about it afterwards.
Yeah.
Because you are asking for validation, but that's content that you've written from your heart, from your soul, from your mind, from your feelings. Post it because it cannot be wrong. There is nothing wrong that you can do in this business unless you start, I don't know, going off and abusing people or whatever else.
Yeah.
But there's honestly nothing. And like Karen mentioned, what can go wrong? Like what could honestly be the worst thing that happens? When Karen and I spoke on stage in Cambodia, that is another time that I
Oh my
super
God.
overthought everything. Standing in
Yeah.
front of 300 people, telling our story, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to say? I'm not going to be able to get my words out. What's going to happen? Overthinking every damn thing. Do you know what? I was so happy afterwards. I was like, I can't believe I did that. You know, it's just so, the overthinking was not even worth it. It was such a waste of time because
Yeah.
the elevation and the adrenaline that I had after it and how proud I was of both of us and all of us for being there, even, was like, it beat everything. It really, 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 really beat everything. And it's also about recognizing, like, so many things are out of your control. There's so many things that you cannot control. So when we was chatting earlier about the brain dump thing and you crossing all those things on, are they actually important? What's actually out of your control? Can you control that? Can you control how people feel, perceive, and look at your content? No, you can't. All you can do is be you, show up as who you are, and trust that you are speaking to your people, because that is the only thing that you can possibly do. You know, you don't have control over that. You know, you don't have control over how fast, or well, you do have control over how fast or how slowly you build your business, but how quickly you gain that freedom. You know, it will happen when it's ready to happen. And I'm telling you, the overthinking ain't going to get you there any quicker. So
Yeah,
taking on
definitely not.
these
Definitely not.
tools and things for yourself would definitely help you with the overthinking. Another thing that I like to do to help me is about pre-planning and being proactive about this, because like we said, we're all human, we all still have our overthinking times. You know, it's about preempting what might happen the next day. So planning ahead, having your routine and thinking, okay, well, what are the things that I want to do tomorrow? Not just waking up in the morning and then that rush starts to happen, then you literally, your mind is just filled instantly within half an hour of you waking up. Think
Yeah.
about your routine, start it slow, have some meditation, go to the gym, work out, write down your to-do list, pick just 2 or 3 things on there, not the whole list. Trust me, we've been there. And just take it slowly, right? And then if you feel yourself overthinking, take into account some of these other things that we've given you here on this podcast.
Yeah, definitely. I think they're great tips, Meg. And if you've got any other remedies that you use for overthinking, then please share. Please let us know. We'd love to hear how you can get your mind out of the overthinking cycle and back to actually becoming productive and getting stuff done without all that crazy stuff that's going on in your head. So yeah, be amazing. And yeah, it's normal. Everybody has it. Everybody has it in some part of their life, be it business or normal life or being a mum with like a million kids running around or whatever, you know, it's normal. It happens with absolutely everything. So yeah, we would just wanted to come on and share that, and we hope we've got some value and practice the tips that we have suggested, because we've been there, done that, used them, and still continue to when we have overthinking days still as well, which they still do crop up, and they do for everybody in different situations. So don't be afraid to just break that pattern, interrupt, take yourself for a walk and disappear from whatever you were doing and come back to it, because it's like a little piece of magic when it happens.
Yeah, no, it really is. And it is just having that baseline of, you're going to overthink in any situation, any environment. Just because if you're coming into this, just bringing it back to the online stuff, if you're coming into the online world and you start overthinking and then you start having fears and doubts, don't.
Yeah,
Because everything you've done before, you've always had overthinking, fears and doubts and whatever towards that. You're not going to stop that. So don't stop moving yourself towards the future that you want. Just
exactly.
know that it's normal. You're going to push past it. You've got all of these tips, tools, tricks that you can start bringing into your days. You've got Karen and I here to support you, and the whole community behind you as well. So keep going. If you've got any additional tips that you find help you, another thing for me is like listening to music, getting up, boogieing, dancing. It's that pattern interrupt again. So if you guys have any great tips, we'd love to hear them in the comments below, or reach out to us on Instagram, share them on your stories. We'd love to hear what it is you do when you're overthinking. And by all means, please do continue to share the podcast, leave reviews, tag us in them. I'm on Instagram at Courage to Create Change. Karen, you are on Instagram at
Karen.I.Gallagher.
amazing, and you'll see that in the below bios as well. So yeah, we really look forward to seeing all of those for you guys as well, and you joining us on the next episode. We hope that you guys have an incredible evening, morning, day, wherever it is that you're listening to this, and we will be catching you next week.
Yes, thank you so much for all your support so far. We love doing the podcast every week. So, as Meg said, have a great day, evening, morning, wherever you may be. And we will be back next week with a new episode or whatever you want us to chat about, guys. Drop us also a little message and we'll cover that in one of the podcasts to come. So, we will see you later.
Take care.